that he's promoting this complete false lie that Haitian legal migrants
hate them personally.
are eating. What?
And the Democrats hate Republicans. As soon as he got elected, Republicans were unfriended by all the Democrats. They wouldn't speak to us anymore. The Democrats are the party of hate. The Democrats are the party that said he's a Putin asset, he's a Russian puppet. The Democrats are the ones who signed affidavits and lied to a court so that they could spy on a president of the United States. The Democrats are the ones who said that we're destroying democracy. Let me tell you something about Donald Trump. Let me tell you something about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is one of the most generous people you'll ever meet. He does all kinds of things that people have no idea about. And by the way, if he were selfish, he'd take his money and tell all of us to go F ourselves based upon the way this country has treated him. This guy got shot.
About him
Don't tell me he's selfish.
Are absolute fools.
No, let me tell you something. Donald Trump is the only one who moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. He's the only one who got the Abraham Accord.
Why aren't Jews voting for him?
I'm not going to fight with you anymore, Jessica. But I know the man, and the facts rely anything he's saying.
Hey, welcome into Courageous Media. Really, thanks for joining me here. Appreciate you rolling up. We got a phenomenal show for you today. We have a serious breaking news story out of Virginia. If you haven't seen this already, this is absolutely nuts. I started with that clip because the hate of the Democrat Party is not confined to just a few people. It is rampant within this entire organization. It's a metastasizing rot that has been there for decades now. Why? Because the Democrats for decades have essentially been the party of socialism. For 200 years, they have been the party of slavery. They've been the party of Jim Crow. They've been the party of the KKK, the party of, the soft racism of low expectations, all of the above. Now they're the party of Antifa, and they're the party of other things. We're going to get to the other Antifa side of the story, but first we're going to cover this ridiculous nonsense that is going on out of Virginia. If you have not heard of Jay Jones, the candidate for AG of Virginia, you have got to see this. You have got to see what he actually texted, not, what he, in a conversation with a Republican, with an actual, colleague / adversary, right? Somebody on the other side of the political aisle. But you are not going to believe this. Actually, you will believe it. I believe you fully will believe it. You will be shocked that it's come out so publicly. You'll also believe, you might be shocked, you might not be surprised, you might be incensed that the Democrat Party is absolutely still behind this guy. It is completely nuts. Check this out.
Abigail Spanberger has said, she said the following, quote, "I made clear to Jay that he must fully take responsibility for his words. What I've also made clear is that as a candidate and the next governor of our Commonwealth, I will always condemn violent language in our politics." But she didn't say, get the you-know-what out of the race.
That's a whole lot of saying a lot of words to say absolutely nothing.
Yes.
And I think Jay Jones, I don't just think he should drop out of the race. I think he needs a psych evaluation because someone who wants to see their political opponent's children die has some very scary brain rot. And this has shifted from being just about Jay Jones to, as you said and as Megan said, an indictment of every Democrat who refuses to call on him to drop out. Because if you refuse to call him to drop out and refuse to even drop your endorsement, you are endorsing what he has said. And I think this is going to hound Democrats in Virginia all the way through November.
Absolutely crazy. So for those of you who don't know, and we're going to get to the tweets here or the text in just a minute, Jay Jones is the Democrat candidate for AG of Virginia. And he is a complete, absolute shitbag. I mean, this guy is just absolutely monstrous and horrible. Now, that little exchange that you saw there. So Jay Jones got into a text conversation with one of his colleagues on the other side of the political aisle about a third member, another Republican. And this Republican had the gall to say nice things about a Democrat opponent who died during their funeral. That was their major crime. But we're going to get into the tweets, but they were so violent and so ridiculous that you've got members of the media now calling on this guy to drop out of the race, not just apologize, not just, oh, he screwed up. No. It is so bad they want him out of the race. But there is not yet a single Democrat who has called for him to step down or to resign or to back out of the race, or more importantly, has called for possible criminal charges, because I think is the next step. But Abigail Spanberger, who is the Democrat candidate for governor of Virginia, basically threw out a lot of flowery words. Oh, I condemn violent speech. No, you don't. You didn't condemn this. You didn't condemn him. You didn't get on TV or in a message on social media and say, I absolutely condemn what Jay Jones said. Jay Jones needs to drop out. Jay Jones will not be my attorney general. I do not endorse him. I'm out. If he's in the attorney general's office, I will do everything in my power to get rid of him. No, none of that, because what this has frankly become is an indictment of the entire Democrat Party, who is standing behind this violent would-be felon. Now, let's check out the actual messages. You're not going to believe this. Now, let's check out these texts. Then we're going to get into what I think ought to happen. So, again, this is in response to a Republican, someone by the name of Gilbert, who had the gall to say nice things at a Democrat's funeral. And in gray are Jay Jones' comments. In blue are the comments of the other person. They say nice things about everyone, LOL. If those guys die before me, I will go to their funerals to piss on their graves, send them out awash in something. Jay Jones. 3 people, 2 bullets. Gilbert, Hitler, Pol Pot. Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head. Spoiler, put Gilbert in the crew with the 2 worst people you know. He receives both bullets every time. They are talking about a Virginia politician in the Virginia State House. They're not talking about a mass murderer. They're not talking about actual Hitler. They're not talking about Stalin. They're not talking about Mao. They're not talking about, they're talking about one of their quote unquote colleagues. This is Democrat Party hate. This is it. This is what these people, this is what seethes under the skin of almost every Democrat out there. At least that's what it seems, based on the fact that no one will condemn this man. No one will call for him to drop out. No one will demand that he drop out. No one will withdraw their endorsements. People who have endorsed him are still endorsing him. It gets worse. Jay, please stop. LOL. Okay. It really bothers me when you talk about hurting people or wishing death on them. You weren't simply asking questions and you know it. I generally was. I wasn't attacking you. I was trying to understand your logic. You weren't trying to understand. You were talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die. Yes, I've told you this before. Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy. I point blank asked you more than 3 times, and you dug in that you meant it. I honestly am questioning a lot today. Like this person's mental sanity and certainly his fitness for any office. I mean, I do think Todd and Jennifer are evil, and that they are breeding little fascists. Yes. I mean, this is unheard of. In an era when we've just seen Charlie Kirk assassinated on live television, broadcast for all the world to see on social media, just a year after President Trump took a bullet in the head, thankfully, by a miracle of God, he turned his head at just the right angle that it did not blow the back of his head apart, or we'd be having a totally different Civil War conversation. So you've got President Trump took a bullet, somebody else tried to kill him on a golf course. Then you've got Democrats assassinating, if you remember, the CEO of United Healthcare. Then you've got Democrats assassinating Charlie Kirk. You've got Democrats who tried to assassinate Gorsuch. Was it Gorsuch or Kavanaugh of the Supreme Court? This is absolutely nuts. This is who these people are. So this takes you back to this is what he said. And when I replay this, now it makes a lot more sense. Spanberger on Jay Jones's text messages.
Get the you-know-what of the race.
That's a whole lot of saying a lot of words to say absolutely nothing.
Yes.
And I think Jay Jones, I don't just think he should drop out of the race. I think he needs a psych evaluation because...
Exactly. Spanberger said a whole lot. She used a lot of words and said absolutely nothing. Not a darn thing. So this meme was posted, and I'm not I can't say I don't disagree. And the difference is they're both Democrats. You got the KKK, you got the party of slavery, you got the party of Jim Crow, you got the party of the pro-Hamas wing, the pro-Hezbollah wing, the pro-Muslim Brotherhood wing, the Antifa crowd, which are nothing more than just a different banner behind all of this. The difference is they're both Democrats. I can't say I disagree with that at this point. Now check this out. This is the same Jay Jones, the same person running for AG of Virginia against his opponent, Jay Miyares. This summer, Democrat Attorney General candidate Jay Jones blasted out a fundraising email that vilified and dehumanized his opponent. And my opponent, the nominee for Attorney General, you know him, you hate him, the right-wing extremist. This was a campaign email. So his comments on text about wanting death for an opponent and for an opponent's children are completely in line with exactly who he is. He's demonstrated this in more than one occasion. This is exactly who he is. Now check this out, because we got another news report on Real America's Voice talking about the fact that he has not lost a single endorsement. Check this out. This is when you know that the Democrats are all in with the hate and the political violence. This is not an anomaly. This is not a one-off. This is who they are at their core.
Hey, that's a pretty good ad, Walter. And of course, you could probably put that ad all over the country and just insert a different local Democrat who's supported violence, couldn't you?
Well, at this point you can, because not a single person has denounced Jay Jones. You know, the endorsement list for Jay Jones is pretty long, and they haven't all pulled their endorsements. The fact that this guy's still in the race, that's what should shock everybody. You know, just a few years ago, I would think that if anybody ever said anything like this, that they would be dropping out of their race in shame almost immediately. But not today. Today, he doesn't lose any endorsements. Today, he doesn't lose any money. Today, he doesn't lose any donors pulling out of his race. I mean, he's still running in this race. Abigail Spanberger, who's the governor, she has endorsed him, and she hasn't pulled her endorsement. You know, these people, I've been telling people now, after this stuff comes out and none of them have refused to denounce this guy and to drop him from the ticket, I've been saying that this is the most radical ticket in Virginia's history. And I think that's true. And you're right, you could move it pretty much anywhere in the country, because this is the Democrat Party now. The Democrat Party supports violence. In fact, they endorse it. They endorse violence, and they won't even pull their endorsement from this guy and there's new stuff that came out about him, too. He said that he was out there in 2020. He called a fellow rep in the Virginia Delegate House and said that he thought it would be a good idea if cops were shot. You know, he said it'd be, well, you know, if just a couple cops died, that's a good thing. Maybe if a couple cops died, then they'll stop killing people. I mean, this guy's running for the top law enforcement position in the state, and that's what he says about cops. You can't have these people in office. They're the most radical ticket in Virginia's history, no question.
Absolutely amazing. So he's called for the death of cops. He's called for the death of his political opponents. He's called for the death of his political opponents' children. And he has not lost a single endorsement. Spanberger, the candidate for governor, has endorsed him and is continuing to endorse him, despite her flowery language of, I condemn all political violence. No, you don't. No, you do not. You actually support this stuff. The Democrat Party actually supports this stuff. He's 100% spot on. The Democrat Party, not every Democrat voter, the Democrat Party, the apparatchiks, the apparatus, the elites, the entrenched, the establishment, whether they are far left Democrats all the way on the socialist scale, or whether they are more quote unquote mainstream, they support this stuff. If they didn't, then he would have lost every single one of his endorsements, but he didn't. He hasn't lost any money, any endorsements, nothing. And Spanberger is standing right behind him, cheering him on in this violent rhetoric. This is who the Democrats are nowadays. It's very sad, but they are essentially at this point the party of hate. They are a hate group, a left-wing terror group nowadays.